Hello, I'm David Dickinson. On this show, I help members of the public, and that's yourself, to get the very best price for their antiques and collectibles.
Am I a million miles away?
Yes.
Do you know how much that would cost to put back on?
I could do it for about £3.
Yeah, I bet you could.
Going to auction is always a gamble, but will it pay off?
Lots and lots of bidding on this.
That's what I wanted to see.
80 now on the web, 80 and 5.
Do they know something on the internet that we don't know? Today the show comes to you from Leek in Staffordshire. A great crowd of people have turned up. They all want the real deal.
First with her treasure is Margaret, who's brought in a lovely 7-stone sparkler for Brenda Haller.
As David usually says, diamonds are forever.
Never mind the singing, Brenda, just put down the right notes.
Hello, Margaret.
Hello, Brenda.
You brought me something that I like.
Oh, lovely.
Tell me about it.
That ring belonged to my late sister, who gave it to my daughter,
Oh,
and she gave it to me.
so it's moved around a bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
But she wants a new conservatory, so I thought if I sell it, I can give her the money towards it.
towards it. I was going to say, it won't buy a new conservatory, but it would go towards
Yeah.
it, wouldn't it?
It will.
It's diamonds. It's 18 carat. I can see the mark from here. And it's in nice condition. You can see it's not been worn very much because you can see that the shank here is hardly any wear whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because it's still quite thick.
I've never known her to wear it.
There's not too many inclusions. Inclusions being pieces of carbon
Yeah.
in them, which makes black spots in them. Nice little centre stone. I think it's probably about, adding up, probably just over a carat. Maybe 1.2 carats of diamonds there to 1.5. It's pretty. I mean, it does look 1950s, 1960s. Did you buy it new or was it
Yeah,
second?
she
bought
it new.
So it is a 60s ring. It makes somebody a very nice engagement ring.
Would, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're looking for part of a conservatory. Okay. How about one of these?
No, a few more.
I know that. Just getting going, dear.
Just getting one.
Just
Oh,
getting
okay.
going. £100. 150. £200. So it's 100 for one sister, 100 for another sister, and you're the third sister. So let's say 50 for you, because you don't want a full 100, do you?
Is she giving you one of those tales? 50 for this sister, 50 for that sister, and 50 for you? She says this to all these people that bring diamond rings on.
Oh, does she? I've missed that.
You're a card, you are.
Okay, £300 to £400 is where the independent valuers and the auctioneers are. That's not enough money that's on the table, £250. We need to be within that 3 to 4, otherwise you and I, darling, are off to the auction, and that is going to sparkle.
Well, I've been told I'll make it up to 300. And that's it. Ta-da. It has, it's gone.
I mean, that's terrible, Brenda.
I know, I'm sorry. But it has to be done, I'm afraid. Times are hard.
So he says, but I don't take any notice.
I'm sat on it, sweetheart.
I think that's worth another 50, Brenda, don't you?
I think it's worth another 50 quid. Now, sometimes she unsits off the purse and she does sometimes unzip it. Now, if Brenda doesn't give you the other £50, you and I will go to the auction. But I have a feeling on this occasion, she might just lift up her posterior, take out the purse and unzip it. She'd be foolish if she didn't.
He's a devil, you know.
I think
I
he's a nice
always end
man
up
now.
paying more than I want to pay because he always comes in and ruins my deal.
Oh, I feel ever so sorry for you.
I don't like doing this. I've opened my purse, I need therapy. What am I going to do?
You need a key to unlock it.
Oh, shut up, David! All right! That's it.
That's a
We
deal.
got a deal.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you very
Margaret. David stitched me up yet again. I know I've paid too much.
You dealers always say that.
Terry.
Across the den, Terry has brought in some Staffordshire pieces to show David Ford.
These aren't things that are as collected as they once were. Looking at them, I suppose £100 plus, maybe.
What sort of figure are you looking for, Terry?
Around about £90. I'm not an experienced haggler in any way, shape or form.
It's easy. Just keep asking for more.
Well, they're antiques, aren't they?
Certainly.
Staffordshire cows with a shepherd and a shepherdess. They're 19th century. What do you know about them?
As far as my memory goes, they belonged to me nan, who were then handed down to me mother, who then bequeathed them to my wife.
So these are family heirlooms, really, aren't they? These are things that have been in the family probably since new.
Probably because before me nans, they were her nans.
Really?
Yes.
I think that's wonderful. I think it's rather a shame they should go out of the family, really, when you...
Well, it is, but rather that and let somebody else see them, rather than being trussed up in something or other in a drawer or a cupboard.
Is that what's happened to them?
That's where they've been, yes.
Look as though they've had a bit of ear trouble.
Yes.
And he's lost a little bit there, but actually they're not bad, are they? When you think they probably date 1870, something like that.
Yeah.
Shall I try and buy them from you?
Please do.
20 quid? £60 doesn't appeal to you?
Not really, no.
But 80 does.
It's getting there now.
Oh, getting there, £80. You're going to rip my arm off and shake my hand.
I might not do the second bit.
£80 quite pleases you, doesn't it?
It's a reasonable offer, yes.
Yes. And we're going to get some advice from Mr. Dickinson.
Well, times are rather strange in the sale rooms. It's what's in fashion, what's not in fashion. We know that a lot of these pottery and porcelain items, they're just not very fashionable at the moment. They may come around again, but we've got two indications here of value. We've got 60 up to 100, and then we've got 80 to 120. They aren't the most fashionable thing in the world, but I still think those are desirable subject matters. Is that it, Dave? I mean, I know you've got to sell them, you've got to make a profit.
We're living in a commercial world, sadly, and I'm looking at them and saying to myself, how much do I want to own them? £80 I want to own them. £90 I don't want to own them. For 80 quid I'll buy them.
OK, so we've got the picture here.
Yep.
I think they'll do a bit better in the auction, but it's a bit of a gamble.
So the decision really, Terry, is yours. £80, cash on the table. Some people say cash is king. Or have a little go at auction, and who knows, make a bit more.
Well, as you've just said, cash is king at this present climate, so I'm going to gratefully
You're going to take the money?
your offer. Yes, I am.
Deal done. Thank you very much, Terry. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We need the pennies at the moment, and I thought that was a fair deal.
It's funny, when you first see something and you look at it, you think, oh, this is probably worth about 100, but in fact, at 80, I think is probably a fairer price to pay.
You would say that after the deal. Coming up, Henry takes some stick.
I don't think you're going to like me very much,
No,
actually.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal.
Hello, I'm Henry.
I'm Lily.
Lillian is sitting down for a chat with Henry Nichols about her walking stick.
I like walking sticks. It's a very tactile piece. I think I'm going to go for £30 to £50, something like that.
I'd like about £100 for it. I've seen Henry on the show before and I think he'll be very fair.
Let's hope you still think that after the deal.
You bought me in a rather splendid-looking walking cane.
Yeah.
What's its history? How did you come by it?
The gentleman that originally owned it rose to Chief Inspector locally of Newcastle Underline Police.
Right.
And he actually lived next door, apparently, to my father-in-law.
OK.
And it was given to my father-in-law, and it's been in our possession ever since the 1930s.
Lovely. Well, I can see straight away it's certainly a cane for a gentleman because of its size. They generally come up to the hip. So obviously this is quite a tall one, so you would expect it to be for a gentleman. What I like about this, you've got the original ferrule the brass capping that protects the
Yes,
bottom of the,
yeah.
of the walking stick. We've got an ebonised body here, rising up to this wonderful little silver collar, assayed for Birmingham in around about 1904, and then obviously we've got the ivory handle. Now, we can see it's got an inscription on there, so let's just have a look. Presented to Inspector William Forster by the Grimsby Borough Police Athletic Club in recognition of services as secretary in 1904.
Yes. I think they must have presented him with that before he moved up to Staffordshire. I have got, this is who the stick belonged to.
Ah, okay. So we've got all this wonderful information here.
Yes.
It's telling about Chief Constable William Forster's history in the police force. And what I like is that we've got here a wonderful picture of him on his horse there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just extra information that really adds to it, I think.
Yeah.
Do you remember anybody ever using it?
No.
So it's just been sat around?
It's just been tucked up in a corner, and obviously it's not been used at all.
So have you got thoughts on what you might do with the money?
Well, I am going away for a few days. It would go to that.
Have a nice meal out somewhere? Or,
Yes, take my friends.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great. Well, what I need to do, I think, is get some money out
Right.
and see if I can tempt you.
Right.
I'm going to offer you 20, 30, 35 pounds. No.
No.
Am I a million miles away?
Yes.
Well, that told me, didn't it? OK, I'll try a little bit more. Let's take that fiver away and let's put down another 10, 40 quid.
No.
I'm still a million miles away.
Yeah.
OK. I'll do one more offer. I don't think you're going to like me very much.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I'm trying, though. I'm trying. Well, actually, I've always been told I'm very trying, but there we are. £50. I think, for me, that's where I want to be with it.
Right.
But it's up to you. So, Lillian, what would you like to do?
I'm going to take it to auction.
Have you ever been to an auction?
No, never.
You'll have a fabulous day, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you
Lillian,
very much.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
£60 on the web.
Lillian is holding out for more money, and the Duke seems to agree with her.
Because of the ivory handle, I think it's worth more than 50 quid. It is here in the sale room with an 80 to 120 estimate on it. It has a reserve of £90. The question is, do we have a buyer for this? There are people that collect police memorabilia,
Yes.
all types of items relating to the police force. I think it's a nice object. What's it going to bring? The reserve is 90 quid.
110 is the police history, an Edwardian silver and ivory mounted walking cane, 1904. £60 starts with me.
£60 start, 65,
65, 70, 5,
75, 80.
85, 90, £90.
That's more like it.
The hammer's raised at £90.
Well, the gavel's gone down at £90.
Right.
We do have to take away a little bit of commission
Yes,
from
yeah.
that. Quick calculation tells me it's close to £74. Are you satisfied with that?
I am. Yeah.
On the day, I think it was probably worth a little bit more. £90 under the gavel, taking home £74 for the real deal. Henry, you missed out on this. It was a very good lot.
You called that one wrong, Henry, but at least Lillian is going home happy. Back in the den, Steve has a ceramic lamp base for Janice Kehoe, made by Real Deal favourite Moorcroft. But a problem has come to light.
It is missing the wooden base that it came on, but the colours are quite striking, and we'll see what we can do.
You could always do your very best, Janice.
How are you?
Super smashing great.
Good. And what have you brought for me today?
A 1960s Moorcroft lamp base.
Why are you selling it?
My mum doesn't use it anymore, so she said the proceeds can go between me and my brother.
Right, OK. Well, let's have a look at it. The wire would come down there and out the bottom, so you do need the wooden base, because otherwise the wire would stick out the bottom and it would wobble. So it would have been made with a wooden base originally.
Okay.
And it's marked Moorcroft
Yep.
and made in England. Do you know what pattern it is?
It is clematis, I think.
Clematis. Okay. Right.
It looks like a clematis anyway.
I'm not a gardener, so
No,
I
me
wouldn't
neither.
know. But the colours are really strong. And how did your mother come to own it?
She was given it by a family friend.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Has it ever had a shade on or been used?
It's been used. She's had the wire going down the sides. I've never seen the contraption before.
Yeah.
But because of all the new electricity rules,
Yeah.
then obviously she's had to get rid of that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what we can do. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 and £20.
Not bad.
Not bad. Okay, am I a long way away?
Not too far, but obviously more is better.
Not for me, it isn't.
No, I know, not for you.
Well, bear in mind, I have to get a new base made for it because otherwise it can't function as a lamp. We've got to get it sort of wired and everything.
Okay.
I will go a little bit more and we'll go, serious 125 because I do think it's a fair price that I'm offering.
Not bad. Can I squeeze you for a bit more?
There's 125 on the table. That, I feel, is my limit. If you go to auction, I think you'd have to get about 145, 150 to get that back. It might do a lot better. I don't know.
Yeah, nobody knows.
That's the gamble of going to auction. What would you like to do, Steve?
Go on then. I think we'll deal. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Steve.
Given the estimates, obviously she's got to make a profit. Yeah, fair offer.
That's very decent of you. Enjoy your earnings, Steve. Still to come, Brenda tells us how it is.
All right. Why are you laughing? Do you think you're going to get a lot of money?
Oof. Of course.
What, from me? Like, are you kidding?
And what's got Henry all fired up?
I've got to buy this. I've got to buy it.
Where have you been? Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal.
There's a dandy in the den. Although looks can be deceptive, Trevor is sat with Brenda and he has an idea of what to expect.
I think Brenda's going to be tough to deal with. That's my opinion. Let's see.
Trevor.
Brenda.
Who's the dandy? I thought it was a man, Trevor.
You thought it was a man?
I did to start with, and then I noticed something, and it's not a man, is it?
Well, we think it's Marie Antoinette. That's what we've always guessed it as.
She used to dress as a dandy, didn't she, sometimes?
As far as I know.
Yeah. Tell me what you know about this.
Well, I know it's been in the family, my wife's family, for a long time, and that we've often seen it, but never really liked it, to be honest.
Right.
It's not our cup of tea. We've just inherited this.
Yes. And you thought, oh my goodness, what am I going to do with that?
Well, we thought Dickinson's Real Deal, didn't we?
Thank you so much. Actually, I find it quite attractive, funnily enough.
It's got some nice colouring on it. I like the green, I'll be honest.
Okay.
And at a distance, it looks quite nice.
Yes. This is Amphora, which is an Austrian factory. It's purporting to be a Royal Dutch figure, which is Czechoslovakian factory.
Right.
On Royal Dutch, you have this lovely plaster triangle on the bottom in sort of a pinky red. This hasn't got it, and it isn't quite the quality that Royal Dutch would allow to go out of their factory.
Right.
You know it's got damage. It's got the plume missing from here.
I've got the plume.
Oh, look at you. Do you know how much that would cost to put back on?
I could do it for about £3.
Yeah, I bet you could. You could get some super glue and stick it on, and there, Bob's your uncle. But the problem is, somebody would still want it perfect.
I know, I understand that.
This is just about 1900, 1910, that sort of period. What we call too flamboyant, a little bit too frilly. Do we know anybody on this programme that's flamboyant, I wonder?
Oh, let me think.
I wouldn't say I dislike it, but it's not my favourite thing. But I'm willing to take a little gamble on it and see if I can give you some money. So I'll get my purse out, Trevor.
Okay.
All right. Why are you laughing? Do you think you're going to get a lot of money?
Oof, of course.
What, from me? Like, are you kidding? All right. We'll start with 20, 40 pounds.
Is that for the top? Is it?
No, that's for that.
Oh, is that for that?
We will go 60 pounds. Now, I know if I wanted to get it back into retail condition, I'm going to have to spend £100 on it at least. The money doesn't equate to me if I spend any more than that and £100. I'm not going to get my money back, to be honest.
Well, Trevor, I'm horrified at 60 quid for this. First of all, there is a lot of damage. A skilled restorer will be able to make this perfect very easily. One in good original condition is about 300 quid, 350 quid. In this condition, our independent valuers are saying 100 to 150 pounds. You've got to go to auction. You've got to run it there. There is damage, but it's worth the gamble because potentially that could be brought into a £300 piece. So I'm going to say, don't let it go for a mere 60 quid. Let's get to the auction.
I agree. I agree.
So is this going to be 3 flamboyant people at the auction?
You've got it.
Oh, frills and everything?
Oh, I might have a lot of fun.
Oh, Trevor.
Thanks, Brenda. Even though Brenda only offered me 60, I still like her.
Glad to hear it, Trevor. But it looks like the thought of dressing up for the big day was too much for him.
Trevor can't make it today, and so I'm looking after his interests. 100 to 150 pounds is the estimate. 100 pounds is the reserve. Is it going to sell? Was Brenda Haller right? Was it only worth 60 quid? Or is it worth a little bit more, as we suspect? Let's find out. It's coming up now.
The Art Nouveau Continental Porcelain Amphora bust here, and £100 is bid. £100 is bid. 110 is it? 110 for it. At 100, 110, 120, 130.
Yes. Told you, Brenda. The purse closed too quickly.
160, 170. At 160, 170.
That's what I wanted to see.
£160 still on commissions, 170 anywhere. 170, they're seated. 180, 190.
180.
At £180 on.
Can you hear that, Brenda Haller?
180.
They love it.
At £180 on the commissions. He wore down at 180.
Okay, gavel has gone down at 180, 3 times what Brenda Haller, her with the purse, offered. And remember, there was a few chips on this, so that did affect the price. There is a commission to take off of that. Quick calculation, £147. Trevor, that is the real deal.
It certainly is. What a great result. We get all creatures great and small on this show. At David's table, it's one man and his dog.
I quite like doggy paintings. It's going to be interesting to see how much I can get it for.
It will be interesting to see how much Bob lets it go for.
Bob, you brought me in a Pekingese.
Yes.
Tell me about your Pekingese.
Well, my mother passed it on to me just before she died, but originally it was my grandfather's.
So it's a family inheritance?
Well, it
really
is, sort of, yes.
So what's made you decide, is this a sort of family thing, what's made you decide to sell it now?
To be honest, I don't particularly like the Pekingese, though my wife says if it was a King Charles Cavalier, we would keep it.
Oh, I see. It's the breed rather than the...
Yes, she does have a thing about King Charles Cavaliers.
But there's people out there, I think, that like Pekingese, aren't
I'm sure there are, yes.
I think it's quite nice, actually.
It is, yes.
It's signed down the bottom here, Ada Milner.
Yes.
Not an artist. Oh, I know Ada Milner, you know, I don't. But she obviously is very competent and can paint a dog very well.
Yes, yes.
My feelings are that it's probably painted around turn of the century, 1910, 1920. It's that sort of age. Oil on canvas.
It is.
It's not quite fitting the frame.
No.
But I don't think it started life in this frame anyway.
Well, it's been in that frame since we've had it.
As long as you've had it, yes. I mean, the frame has at some stage been painted gold. would have been gilt.
Right.
And it's now been gold painted, which is always a shame. But, I think it would benefit from being reframed, cleaned up, and presented in sort of gallery condition. I think it's quite nice. So, money, I suppose.
Yes.
Shall we get to that bit?
Yes, good idea.
50, 100, 150, 200 pounds. In fact, 250 pounds for your picture, Bob.
It's a good start.
Good start? I thought I'd got there, actually. Yeah.
We're getting quite close.
I'll try a little bit more. 270, 290.
Yes.
Bit of advice from David. I think we both need it.
Well, I've just gone to the independent valuers and the auctioneer, and I've had a bit of a chinwag because dog pictures usually do quite well on the show, or they do quite well within the auction. Auctioneer, they say 120, 180. Independent valuers say 250 to 350, which puts your offer way within their estimation.
Okay.
If we were to get 350, the top estimate, we'd have to take away a good 50 quid.
Yes.
You'd have about £300. I'm going to say, on the day, looking at the quality, that seems to me to be a fair offer.
Well, thank you, David.
Well, thank you, David.
Can't argue with him, can I?
I can't really, can I? That's your final offer?
It is, sir.
Okay, you have a deal,
We have
David.
a deal. Fantastic.
Thank you very
Bob.
much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think David was very fair. It was nice to meet him. I'm quite satisfied, and I hope he makes something on it as well.
He wouldn't be doing his job if he didn't. Coming up, an interesting object has everyone guessing.
I thought it was a police truncheon. It could be used by press gangs.
Wallop over the head.
And who's this? Jumping Duke Flash?
Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal.
Ruth has a mysterious object that she wants to show Janice.
I've brought along today a piece of, in my opinion, social history.
But what is it?
I have what I think is a priest used for killing fish. It isn't the sort of thing I would sell normally, but I am a fly fisher, so it could actually come in useful.
Let's see if you can reel this one in then.
I've brought this nice item that I've had for quite a few years. I thought it was a police truncheon.
Yeah.
I've changed my mind. I think it may be to do with navy and press gangs. It's quite heavy.
Yes, it is.
It's really quite tactile. I like wood, I like ebony, but I've got that much clutter at home. I am a self-confessed junkaholic.
Yep.
So this seemed like a nice item to bring.
Okay, and how do you come to own it?
I think this came from a car boot sale about 15 years ago.
It could be used by press gangs because it does have a really nice, it sounds a terrible thing, it does have a nice feel to it.
It's really tactile, it is, I know.
It's very heavily weighted.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a truncheon at all. I think it's maybe a bit too small for a truncheon.
Right.
But another thing it might be is perhaps used by a gamekeeper.
Right.
It's called a priest, I think, for putting animals out of their misery. Perhaps when they've been shot or wounded or something. It's just a quick tap on the head. That's one possible idea that it might be, but it's a really interesting item. And as you say, it just fits neatly into your hand, fit into the back pocket, and I say it would have been...
Conceal it, you see, that's why I thought press gangs, because it's concealed.
Possibly.
It's short.
Yeah, possibly. And have you had it hanging up?
No. When I bought it, it was just damaged like that. I just have it like on display. I was going to clean that up. At first I thought that was silver, but I think it's brass.
I think it's brass, yeah. Let's see if I can buy this from you.
Oh, yes, please.
OK. 20, 40 pounds.
Well, it's quite old. It could
So
be.
am I.
I don't think you're as old as this. I think it's a good 150 years old.
Yep.
So I think it's worth a little bit more than £40.
A little bit more. We'll put 50 down.
No, I wouldn't accept 50.
You won't accept 50. What about taking David's advice before we proceed?
Yes, yes.
OK, now I like this. I don't think it's a police truncheon. I did think at one time it might have been used by the Navy, early 19th century, for pressing people wallop over the head, then you'd wake up on board ship. But I have to admit that the clue came from our dealer, and she turned around and said, no, I think this is a priest, and I think she's right. I think my lord or my landowner would have had one of those in his pocket and on catching a salmon, wallop.
Yeah.
I think that would have been the decisive blow. I think what we've got here is something early 19th century, 1820s, 1830s, but something rather desirable. We have a 70 to 100, and we've got a 100 to a 150. I think it's a rarity, and I think at auction, it could attract the hunting, fishing, shooting type set.
OK. I will put a little bit more down. If I take that 10 away, and I'll pop another 20 down, and that brings us at 60. But for me, that to me is what I feel it's worth.
Looks like we're going to auction then.
Well, good luck.
Thank you. I was a bit disappointed. I thought that I would have been offered a bit more, but if it's not her field, I understand that. So it is going to auction, and then it will be appreciated.
Let's hope so, Ruth. David and the bidders are waiting.
It caused a lot of conversation amongst our independent valuers and the dealers that were there on the day. Can you recall what you paid for it?
Knowing me, and I'm a bit tight-fisted, it'll be under a fiver.
OK, well, you got a bargain at that. And if we could pin it down to what it really was, the Navy or for the police or maybe for a landowner, I think we could certainly expect more than the 60 quid. It's coming up over there.
155 is the brass-mounted hardwood truncheon, circa 1830. Nice lot there, £60 for it, and £60 straight in, and 60 and 5. 70, 5, 75, £70 in the room, 75, 80 now on the web, 80 and 5.
On the web, 80. Do they know something on the internet that we don't know?
£85, 2 bidders on the internet, and 90 is it? At £85.
I think it's cheap at 85 quid.
On the internet, are you all done? It's at 85.
OK.
Fine.
£85 a bidder on the internet. I still think it was cheap. I think it was a bargain.
Yes.
There's a bit of commission to be taken off. The time you knock off the commission, it's 70 quid. Ruth, are you satisfied?
Yeah, because I'd like to think whoever's bought it wants it, enjoys it.
Yeah. On the day, you're taking home 70 quid, and that was the real deal. Oop.
You're going home with a tenner more than Janice offered. Better than a bop on the head, eh? We're enjoying a brilliant day in league, but there's just time for another deal. Here's Julie.
I brought in a collection of autographs that I collected when I was 15 and 16, and I would like at least £500 for them.
A wonderfully interesting 1960s autograph album, rock and pop memorabilia. It's my thing. I've got to buy this. I've got to buy it.
Let's hope the money you put down is music to Julie's ears.
You've brought in some iconic autographs.
Yes.
What is the history?
When I was 15, we had a local town hall then, the old building, and every Saturday night there used to be a dance.
Yep.
And I used to sell the pop and the crisps in the break.
Amazing.
So I got all the autographs from the stars then.
We've got some really lovely, lovely autographs here. We start off with Johnny Kidd, obviously Johnny Kidd and the Pirates.
Yeah.
Here we've got Screaming Lord Sutch and his Savages. No autograph, but a very unusual thing, you've got the ticket. And quite often, a lot of these tickets never survived, so that makes it a little bit more unusual. To me, the 60s was the period, I think, of the best music.
Because
it was so exciting. Now, obviously, the iconic bands such as the Beatles, but we also have here another iconic band, the Rolling Stones.
Yes.
The lovely thing about the Stones autographs we've got here, we've got all the band there, including the late, great Brian Jones. Fabulous to see. Not only do you have one set of Stones autographs, but you have two.
That's right. That's on a Christmas card.
Yeah.
And it was Christmas Eve.
It was Christmas Eve?
December the 24th,
Oh, there we go, look at
1963.
that. Christmas Eve, 63. I mean, it's just lovely to see. It really is lovely to see these. So then, oh, here we go. What do we got here? The famous band Them.
Yes.
And we have autographs on the back,
Yes.
including another iconic figure, Van Morrison. Absolutely amazing. Mike Berry, the Hollies. I mean, to me, it's such an exciting book, and I hope the memories that you've got of getting the autographs and the gigs
Yes.
are as exciting.
They were.
But why are you getting rid of it?
As usual, it was in a box in the loft.
Right.
I'd forgotten all about it, and I think it was sort of in the back of my mind when I found it, it would be rainy day money.
Yeah.
And now I need my driveway redoing, so
Right.
that's going to help towards it.
Fantastic. It's something that I'd be quite keen to buy. I mean, I collect rock and pop memorabilia myself. Principally for me, it is bands like Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, and the Rolling Stones. So I think I need to get some money out on the table and see if I can tempt you.
Yes.
20, 40, 60, 80, 100. 20, 40, 60, 80, 200. 20, 40, 60, 80, 300. 320, 340, 360 pounds.
Keep going.
That's a good way towards a driveway. Am I tempting you?
Not at 360, no.
Not at 360. You've got a figure in mind?
My drive is £1,500, but I don't expect that.
I'm glad you said that, actually, because we could stop now. OK, 400. That's a good way forward.
Not
I
quite.
must be getting close.
Yes. Ish.
420, 440. Let's see what David has to say.
Okay.
Well, I'm a Stones fan. I'm sure you were always a Stones fan and probably still are. What people want to know is the background to them, the provenance. Are they original? Are they real? Are they facsimiles? Have they been signed by a roadie, by an office manager? No. We know these are genuine and bona fide because they were signed to you, Julie.
They were, yeah.
Please, may I have the autographs? Yeah, you can, darling. And so we know that they're good, they're not facsimiles, they're not fakes. I've got £400 to £600 from our independent valuers. I think at 440, it is not enough. I think they're worth a little bit more. Otherwise, you and I, yeah, let's get out there rocking and rolling, otherwise at the auction.
Well, so how much am I going to have to put on the table?
500.
500.
Don't get suckered into that, just say you keep putting the money down.
500 at least.
Oh, 500 at least,
Yes.
right, OK. OK, well, I'm going to go to 500.
Right.
There's 500 on the table. I'm going to help you out a little bit more. 520, I'm getting really close to where I want to be. I mean, obviously, if you put them into auction,
Yes.
you're going to lose commission
Yes,
anyway.
I know that.
And even though I will probably end up keeping them myself, I've got to ensure that if I did want to sell them, I could get a profit out of it.
Right.
So I'm going to go to 540, 550. I think that's where I want to be. I really do. Do we have a deal?
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Absolutely delighted. I think it was a very fair deal and I'm very pleased with it.
I think I gave top-end money for the autographs, but I'm absolutely delighted to own them.
Well, there's two happy people. But what about the rest of our dealers? It's not a story of bumper profits today. Bringing up the rear is Janice. She had concerns about the Moorcroft.
It is missing the wooden base that it came on.
It didn't stop her paying £125, which was a bit of a mistake. Better luck next time. Brenda isn't much better off. She forked out 350 quid for Margaret's 7-stone diamond ring.
As David usually says, diamonds are forever.
That's because you've not sold them, Brenda. And Henry's also made a big fat zero, but there's a good reason for that.
Rock and pop memorabilia, it's my thing. I'm going to keep it in my own personal collection.
What a disastrous day for the dealers. All except one, that is. Just ahead of the pack is David Ford. He snapped at Bob's Pekingese painting for 290 quid. Without pausing for thought, he moved it on for £310. And as for the Victorian Staffordshire figures...
How much do I want to own them? £80 I want to own them.
He's a canny dealer. He sold them for 120 quid. That's what we call a cash cow.
Don't forget to join me, David Dickinson, next time for Dickinson's Real Deal. See you.